Local 22 News at 7.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dana Casulo. New tonight, Governor Phil Scott has signed the 2023 state budget into law. The money from the budget will go into workforce programs, housing, economic development, climate change mitigation, and more. Some of those investments Scott addressed in his budget proposal earlier this year. As he signed it, the governor said in part, quote, "The investments we made this year will make a difference for Vermonters, building stronger communities, providing some tax relief, supporting families, and helping address long-term challenges." And we continue our coverage of the shooting out of Smithsburg, Maryland this hour. Police are confirming that 3 people are dead and another is injured from a shooting at a manufacturing facility. The suspect and trooper were wounded in an exchange of gunfire. Both are being treated, and police say the suspect is no longer a threat. Authorities do not have information on whether the suspect and the victims were employees of the company where the shooting took place. A South Burlington man was in court this morning after an early morning standoff with police. South Burlington officers responded to a call at around 1:30 of a noise complaint and incident of domestic assault on Dorset Street. We're told that 30-year-old Justin Russell locked himself in the apartment with 2 children. Russell allegedly threatened to harm the children if police entered his home. Russell eventually surrendered to officers at around 7 this morning. Vermont State Police say the body believed to be a Mount Holly woman was found in the woods near Lake Nineveh. This is 38-year-old Ashley Brown. Police say she was reported missing yesterday. As her car was found in the same area, they told us it didn't appear suspicious, and that is still the case. An autopsy will determine how Brown died. While the New York legislative session adjourned last week, Republican lawmakers say there's a possibility of a special session. Local 22's Amel Taligi has more on a proposed amendment that would allow voters to recall their local district attorney.
In San Francisco, District Attorney Chesa Boudin was removed from office in the middle of his term. Voters in the progressive city determined he wasn't punishing crimes to the fullest extent of the law. In New York, only the governor can remove a DA from office. Senate Minority Leader Robert Ortt says for months, Republican lawmakers have called on the governor to remove New York City DA Alvin Bragg from his position. With Governor Hochul not acting on her power to do so, lawmakers are proposing legislation that could change the state constitution.
I think it's important here that they have sworn an oath. When you take an oath as a district attorney, you have an oath to uphold the law, to prosecute crimes under the law. They are not legislators. If Alvin Bragg wants to change the laws, he should run for legislator. He should run for state senate. He should run for assembly. And then he can change the laws that he thinks are wrong.
Assembly Minority Leader Will Barclay says the proposed constitutional amendment would require 20% of district members sign a petition that would go to ballot. Members can then either vote in favor or removal of the DA. Lawmakers say this proposed amendment is particularly important when it comes to New York's spike in crime.
Policy has played a role in this, whether it's bail reform, whether it's raise the age. All you have to do is look at the front page of any paper almost daily, and you see a recidivist criminal getting out of jail and being able to commit additional crime.
Republican lawmakers say it's crucial that New Yorkers at least have the option to recall their district attorney.
The point is to give them a mechanism to remove an elected official who's literally not doing the core work of his office. His office is to prosecute people who commit crimes.
In order to vote on this, lawmakers would have to convene for a special session. We'll have the latest if that happens. I did reach out to Mr. Bragg's office but was unable to reach him for comment. Reporting at the Capitol, Amel Taligi.
A live look at Washington, D.C., where in less than an hour, a House Select Committee will show new details, an hour's worth of testimony connected to January 6th. Congressman Peter Welch says he's expecting to hear what the real intentions were that day.
But a lot of folks had a sense they were spontaneous. Far from it. They were planned, they were thought out, they were financed. And what is going to be revealed is who was doing the planning, the plotting, the financing, and what the intention was.
As we said, lawmakers plan to show new evidence and play new audio from the insurrection. Local 22's Rashad Hudson has a preview of what we can expect tonight.
Tonight, the January 6th committee will bring the violent Capitol attack back into the spotlight. But the challenge will be trying to get the attention of the American people 16 months later.
I think it was a clear, flagrant violation of the Constitution.
President Biden says many Americans will be watching tonight as the January 6th committee showcases never-before-seen video in their first primetime hearing. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi praises the committee's work.
They have been hard at work doing their patriotic duty to seek the truth.
Recorded statements from some of the 1,000 witnesses who testified behind closed doors are also expected and could include members of the Trump family. Tennessee Congressman Steve Cohen calls that day a stain on democracy.
That this was the most serious offense ever committed, really, against this government.
But House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy calls the hearings illegitimate.
It has used congressional subpoenas to attack Republicans, violate due process, and infringe on the political speech.
And Indiana Congressman Jim Banks says the committee is not looking at the real problem.
Why were our officers under-equipped on that day?
The lawmakers will also hear from Capitol Police Officer Caroline Edwards, who was severely injured by the mob. And tonight's hearing is one in a series of hearings scheduled between now and the fall. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson, back to you.
The hearings will be held tonight on primetime television. It'll be one of many to be held before the end of the month. You can watch it right here on Local 22 News at 8 p.m. Another state in the Northeast has reported its first probable case of monkeypox. The Rhode Island Health Department said a man in his 30s tested positive for an orthopox virus, and confirmation